Hello everyone and welcome back to the channel. I'm STRV Rhino, and in today's video we are going to be having a look at the Tier 10 Swedish tank destroyer, the STRV 103B. So this tank was recently balanced in the latest Tanks Reforged. It's taken me a little while to get this video out just to for a few personal circumstances, but now they're kind of under control. The content should be coming out thick and fast. I'm just going to have a little rundown of the statistics and what they've changed in the balancing, and I have 3 replays for you showing what this tank can do in sort of wide open maps and the sort of normal campy kind of tank destroyer locations, as well as sort of urban maps and up close brawling. So this tank destroyer, tier 10 tank destroyer, 1800 hit points. It's only got 360 meters view range, base. Obviously you can increase that with commander skills and equipment. It's not brilliant, but it kind of can be negated by the excellent camo rating that this tank has. You can go 50 kilometers an hour forwards outside of the siege mode, which is absolutely fantastic. I think it's 45 kilometers actually reversing in outside of siege mode, sorry. So you don't have to turn around, you can just zoom off backwards, which can get you right up harm's way very quickly. Inside of siege mode you can only travel, I think it's 10 kilometers an hour forwards or backwards. As you can see now, it's sort of very slow, but the benefits of the siege mode: you gain fantastic accuracy. You gain 11 degrees of gun depression and elevation, meaning that you are absolutely fantastic on a ridgeline. So this tank has a 105mm gun with 390 alpha damage on its standard and premium APCR and 480 alpha damage on its HE rounds. The penetration is 308 on the standard APCR and 350 on the premium APCR, and the HE penetration's 53, but as you can see I don't carry any. You might want to, just for the sort of the piggies and the lightly armoured TDs, etc. So what did they change during the Tanks Reforged balancing? Well, they've reduced the base reload from 8 seconds to 7.6 seconds, so any kind of DPM increase is absolutely fantastic, and it's something that this tank, I think it definitely greatly needed. On PC, the reload has always been very similar to that of the sort of Tortoise. It's one of the highest sort of DPM tanks in the game, or one of anyway, and now obviously we're sort of catching that up. They also changed the time it takes to enter the siege mode from 2 seconds to 1 second. The time it takes to enter the drive mode, so coming out of the siege mode, from 1.3 seconds to 1 second. So it's 1 second to enter siege mode and 1 second to leave. And they did change, they sort of nerfed the camo rating ever so slightly. It's like by 0.03 and 0.05 stationary and moving, I believe. So it's really negligible. It really kind of doesn't matter. Apart from the siege mode, this tank destroyer is a bit of an enigma in terms of its armour. So on paper it looks absolutely terrible. It has 40 millimeters of hull armour, 30 I think it's on top roughly, and about 30 on the sides. But because of the angling, it means that you are able to brawl and bounce a hell of a lot of rounds, and it does catch new players out and players that aren't aware of the angling and the armour of this tank. So basically, the little plough on the lower plate is 30mm of spaced armour, and the heat shield that you see on the front of the tank, it counts as 10mm of spaced armour. So when this tank is looking directly at you, due to the angling and the armour values, if you have a 120mm caliber gun and below, so you know, all those 105s and 90mm, you aren't going to penetrate this tank unless you are firing up into its lower plate with heat, or you are firing down on top of the upper hull and you're above the tank. If you're shooting it directly, the only chance you've got of penetrating this tank with 120mm and below is by shooting the cupola, and it is a very hard shot if this tank's using all of its gun depression on a ridge line or it's looking directly at you. Whereas if you do have a 121mm caliber gun or higher, so you know, like a lot of the bigger caliber tank destroyers at tier 9 and 10, you should be able to overmatch a lot of the top of the tank. There are a couple of strips of armour which are still going to be auto ricochet angles. So you can use that to your advantage and know who's firing at you, what gun they have, and whether you can sort of bounce them, and that kind of thing really. And you'll see a lot of that in the third replay, which is an urban map, where I do use the sort of angling and the armour values and the knowledge of what is shooting at me to my advantage, so I can bounce some shots. Yeah, and I can stay in the game. So basically, just to recap that, if you're looking down on the tank, shoot the top of the tank. If you're looking up into the lower plate with that little plough bit, and you have a 120mm caliber gun or lower, you've basically got a fire heat, even though it is spaced armor protection. Otherwise, you just won't go through it. And if you have a 120mm caliber gun or higher, you can overmatch the tank. But there is that cupola there, which, you know, is a guaranteed pen for any caliber. I think it's like 50mm of armor value, or 40 or something like that, and you should be able to go through. But as you can see, it's a very small cupola. Right, that's enough of waffling about the statistics. I hope that made sense for you all. If it didn't, leave a message in the comments and I will respond and we can have a look at that. So yeah, in this replay, we are on Fisherman's Bay, as you can see, and we have already picked up 1.9k direct damage. We've already blocked 1.2k damage, we have 300 assistance, and we've got ourselves on Fisherman's Bay into this sort of JK 1 and 2 area, the typical TD sniper mode. So I'm just laughing at that Tiger Shark, which has managed to flip himself, and basically nothing was spotting for us. So I was edging forward and edging forward in the hope that something would spot for me, and it kind of didn't. So I'm kind of taking it into my own hands, just dropped down, and now I'm brawling. I didn't intend to do this on this map, but I kind of had to. And as you can see, that Iron Rain with its 128mm caliber gun, I believe, is just penning me every time. Whereas that Bellerophon, the Centurion 5.1 skinned Halloween tank, I think it's a 90mm caliber gun, it just can't pen me. And that's why I've now blocked 2.4k damage. I'm entering siege mode and I'm staying in siege mode just so I have that accuracy. The traverse isn't terrible in siege mode. Anything really quick is going to get around the side of you, but I wanted to stay accurate so I could fend off the opposition, because that got a bit hairy there for a second. So now I'm just trying to get away, trying to get some distance from the tanks that are in the sort of B, A1, 2 area, and I'm looking at trying to take out this T110E4 because it's a very close game. And I feel like I've done enough effort that I deserve to win, if that makes sense, or I feel like I don't want to throw it away, basically. So that E4, he's within my detection circle, as you can see on the map, and even though this tank has fantastic camo, I will still get spotted in the open if I don't use bushes, etc., or if I'm not outside of my detection zone. As you can see, even though this tank has 360 base view range, my view range way exceeds my camo rating. It just shows how good this camo rating is. So I'm trying to get as much distance away from this T110E4, which is approaching our sort of TD sniper hill. I'm looking at the detection circle and I'm thinking, right, what distance can I get to where I can fire without being detected? And I think I'm getting to that position now where I'm getting lots of foliage in my way, and I've saw this bush, and I'm going to try and line up a shot here. Go for the back of the T110E4, no problem penning that. And he sort of, I don't know if he doesn't care, he doesn't realise that we're here, but, you know, he just carries on ploughing forward. He's a one shot. We do bounce the first, but we finish him off with the second shell. And now it's just us three on our team versus a tank destroyer and the artillery, which is why I'm driving really erratically. I'm only on 92 hit points. He'll have to splash, you know, on the next map and he'll still kill me. So yeah, and I think I'm going to go to the mid-ridge. I'm going to see what RTD spots where he is now in C1, and as you can see, he's just spotted their enemy tank destroyer. Trying to get as close so they're in radio range, see what tank it is. It's a UDES, so it's the tier 8 on this line, and the artillery puts a massive shell into that UDES, leaving him on a one shot. So now I'm going to try and take out the artillery. I've just seen where he's fired from, down to my right. I'm in a great position now to assist shooting the artillery or shooting that UDES. I feel like my camera rating's good enough so that no one's going to spot me until I spot them. Saw this artillery, I do fire, I get spotted, but this reload is now so good, I feel like I can get my last shell in. There we go. take out the T-92, and we finish off the game. I was really proud of that game. It wasn't anything spectacular. I've had much better games in it, but it was more the fact that we sort of stayed calm, we brawled, we used our positioning well, and we took down the game with the help of our teammates. So we picked up 4.8k direct damage, 300 assistance, and 3 kills. Finished second on the team, so not too bad. And yeah, I think we'll leave that one there, and we shall hop into the second replay. So I'll see you there in a bit. Hello everyone, and welcome to the second replay. So we're here on Vineyards, and this is another map where I feel like I'm able to use the tank's fantastic camo rating. I can use the foliage, I can use the sort of typical tank destroyer spots, stay hidden and dish out the hurt on the enemy team. So my plan on this map, in quite a lot of tanks from this spawn, is to go to this little sort of, I guess it's a sniper location on like E6 area, I believe it is, or maybe like D6, I can't quite remember. You'll see where I go to in a minute. I just go there to shoot what gets spotted in their spawn at the start of the game. You'll find a lot of tanks on this map will try and cross to the north of the map, right in the middle, where there is that little sort of hill bit, and they can get caught out, especially if you're light tank, where my Manticore is going on this. In this game, he'll go and spot, and I shall try and back him up. I'm just zooming out there because I think with the recent update, apart from the colour changes that they made, I think you can zoom out further now when you look up. It's a bit weird. I think I was just testing that out. But our Manticore's gone forth, and we shall help him out. So this is the hill that I'm on about. It was actually in D8. You know, close enough anyway. But yeah, he's spotted some tanks in their spawn, and I'm just going to try and go forward in siege mode, keeping my accuracy, so if something gets spotted I can quickly snap a shot in. Saw this their tier 10 light tank. Light tanks, as I always say in my videos, they're so powerful, especially late game. Try and get them out as quick as possible. I'm knocking over a few of the trees, but that doesn't really matter too much. You've got to be a little bit careful if you know someone's looking at you, but if you knock them over, they still do hold some of their all of their camouflage value for you. So knock them over like a lot of in succession, and you can get extra camouflage for your tank. So we've got one shot into the tier 10 light tank. We missed our shot on the Death Star that was crossing. I think like our guy just didn't lead it quite enough. The shell velocity on these APCI rounds is fantastic, but I'm a scrub and I can't aim. So our heavies are going towards the north, the sort of A6 area. And I don't feel like there's a need to move at the moment. I know a lot isn't spotted, but I know those tank destroyers are likely to sort of poke up, like that 268 is. And even though he is outside of my detection range, I was a little bit unsure as to whether I could fire and not be spotted there. So I didn't fire, I held my shell, and that's what you're going to have to learn, I think, in this tank. You're going to have to sort of test with patience when you can fire, when you can't fire. So that Death Star, I felt kind of confident for some reason. I think it's because there's extra foliage in front of me that I wouldn't get spotted. But as I fire, that 268 pushes forward and he spots me, and I'm playing a risky game now. Because people do have shots, as you can see, shells are whizzing past me to my left. But this tank is so low profile. These rocks to my left, I feel like they can only sort of clip the top of my tank. And I feel like if they did, they may penetrate me. In which case I will quickly use the buff to the exit and siege mode and get the hell out of there. But I felt like it would auto ricochet kind of at that angle, so I was kind of confident. And now I'm going to use this ridge line to defend the base. I notice that basically it's only 3 of us over here, and I want to try and defend the base, and I don't really want to have to go all the way back to the sort of spawn point just yet, towards where our sort of TDs and that heavy. Don't know why the hell he's there, but there we are. But yeah, shots are flying in all over the place now, and I kind of feeling like now actually is the time to go. Try and juke that artillery shell, bit of Matrix style there. But I kind of want to support this light tank. He's done a great job in sort of spotting for me at the start of the game. As you can see, we've already picked up 3k damage and 1.1k assistance. And I don't want to leave the light tank on his own there to sort of fend off whatever's going to be coming from the north. So I'm kind of staying in this position I was at the start. And because of the low profile, I am struggling to get sort of shots over this sort of little rock here. But This Waffly 100 is now crossing. I was hoping he was going to sort of full send towards the north, but he didn't. That little hill area there. He's behind a rock, but I've activated my food boost to get a little bit of extra view range. The Manticore is there spotting to the left of me, and as soon as I get a shot, which I did there, I was going to shoot him. But now I'm going to try and help out our light tank shooting their light tank, get him out of the game. We get a shot into him as he's retreating so that he's further away from us. We narrowly missed the kill shot there, but that would have been a great result if we managed to pick him up. But I'm feeling, even though the scores are very even, it's 10 versus 9 in our favour, I still feel very confident. We have a full health light tank, and I'm full health, even though it says 1 out of 1800 hit points. That's just a little bug, little visual bug from the latest update. I mean, what's an update without a bug, right? Maybe it's a feature, who knows. Playing the game on hard mode, starting with 1 hit point. But yeah, I'm just going to try and cover this light tank. I feel like even if this Waffle did push full round, he wouldn't spot me until I got to a position where I could get away. That light tank spots up tanks in their spawn. I don't have shots. And now I'm just going to exit the siege mode, try and reposition, and go after this Waffle. And I think what I was thinking now was just full send the Waffle, get him out of the game. He's so dangerous, and both caliber of guns he has can overmatch me, and I know I'm going to lose, or I was prepared to lose, almost all my hit points to take out this Waffle. But as we're going over, the artillery shoots the Waffle. Always loved artillery, never said a bad word about them. Yeah, anyway, so we come behind this Waffle, quickly enter the siege mode. We've got shots into the back of his turret. He doesn't realise till it's well too late for him. By the time he's turned round, we have a second shot and we put it into him. The artillery misses us, which is good for us. We're going to put 1 into him, and I think we ammo racked that artillery, because unless we rolled like a max roll, I think we just ammo racked an artillery, which is a delightful experience. But now, as you can see, just by doing that and our team pushing around the south, we're cornering them into sort of where their spawn is. It's now 8 versus 2, and if we lost this, I think I probably would have shut down the Xbox for the day, yeah, and gone to bed. I'm going to try and get at least 1 more shot into one of these tanks. They're only, I think they've only got like 100 hit points apiece or something like that, but I mean that one doesn't anymore. But I'm going to try and ram this light tank, I think, but as I go over the ridge to ram him, he gets shut down. But we've had a pretty damn decent game, just sort of playing that sniping role, protecting the base. I think we finished 3rd on the team there, 4.5k direct damage, 1.1k assistance, up to 72% on the marks. Probably going to go for the 2nd and 3rd, maybe, if I'm ever good enough. But yeah, we finished 3rd. Another very good game on a sort of map using the camo, using knowledge of when to retreat and that kind of thing, and I'll leave that one there. And in this next replay is an urban one, and you can see how it does on our city map, so I shall see you there shortly. So here we are on the 3rd replay, now the 3rd and final for this video. We're here on Mannheim, which is probably one of my least favourite maps. Even in Cold War, I find the Cold War map slightly sort of frustrating just due to the size. I think I'm a little bit impatient, probably. I think I just like to sort of get into the action, get into brawls, that kind of thing, and I find that on these maps that you have this kind of circle thing going on where one team goes one way, the other team goes the other way, everyone follows each other, and you're sort of chasing each other around like in a massive circle, like a dog chasing its tail, and it can be really tedious. Either that, or you try and go a different way for once, and you end up fighting their whole team and getting destroyed and having to leave the battle really quickly. But this battle, I think I must have been in a patient mood. Now I'm trying to get some good replays after the balancing to show you all, and I feel like this can show you what you can do on an urban map. And even though this is it is a very open map in terms of there's a lot of space where you can have long sight lines, you do see me kind of brawling and sort of using the knowledge of the armor values and the angling to my advantage. So I'm kind of up here to the top because I feel like I can use my gun depression to shoot what's below me, and I can sort of quickly jerk backwards and avoid shells coming up at me. And if they're shooting up at me from down below, my angling on my tank is going to be so extreme that they're just going to ricochet off all probably miss me completely. And I also know that some of the tanks do like to come down the opposite end of this train track, and I feel like with my camera rating I should be able to outspot them. And I usually like to come down this train track and sort of park up where this light tank is to my left here, because I can reverse or turn around and go back down. So there's this Trailblazer. He cannot pen me unless he gets to my side or hits my cupola. He's kind of stuck now on this bridge. Put one into him. I donk that shot because my tank bounces up and down, but as you can see, he's unloaded all of his shells into me. I shoot the building, trying to auto in quickly. Yeah, that was just terrible play. Maybe I shouldn't show you this replay after all. But yeah, now we're coming up against Type 61, and if you saw one of my first replays I put up, you'll know that this tank has a choice of two guns basically, 90mm and 105, both of which he can't pen me unless he hits my cupola or fires up into my lower plate. And as you can see, he is just ricocheting off me. I'm putting the hurt out to him, and with my fantastic reload, the great DPM this tank has, he gets shut down by a combination of my 2 or 3 shots and then teammates help. And now we're going to go after this M60. I know he's got a 105. It's going to be very hard for him to pen me. There we go, bounces his first shot. I put one into him. I'm still keeping in siege mode, just quick enough maybe to get another shot in. And there we go, get another shot into the back of the tank. He gets shot by another one of our teammates, and he gets shut down. And it's 12 against 10 already. This is a pretty hectic game. And now I'm against this chief with a 120mm gun. He is going to struggle to penetrate me. He goes for my gun, just damages my gun. I repair that. I put 2 shots in for his 1 shot. I'm trying to track him here so that he hasn't got a shot, but I can shoot the rear of his tank. And yeah, this is just like an absolute brilliant farm basically. I'm using the knowledge of my armour, my positioning up here. I know there's artillery on the enemy team. I'm taking a risk that he won't shoot me. I know playing artillery, I played artillery on this map. I'm really sorry, but I have, and it is frustrating because of the sightlines, because of all the skyscrapers. So I feel kind of safe that he won't be able to shoot me. And there we go, 7058. I mean, he should have been able to penetrate me, but I think he might have fired heat up into my heat shield. It might have been absorbed there. I can't quite remember, but I feel like even if I take 1 shot, 2 shots from him, I should be able to take him out. There I think he probably shoots my cupola, or just overmatches me because of the caliber of his gun. I'm in a bit of a bad position here, so I'm going to repair. That 50B was shooting my side. I managed to get around just in time, and he misses his final shell, I believe. But since I've been waffling on, we've already racked up 5.4k direct damage, 4 shy of 800 assistance, and we've blocked 2.5k in a tank destroyer, which most people seem to think is a complete glass cannon, and that just isn't the case if you know what you're fighting. As I'm showing you, you can bounce a hell of a lot of shells. You can play this thing very, very aggressively. And I kind of learnt this kind of method from watching PC YouTubers, in particular, Quickie Baby. Maybe if you want a more detailed explanation, you can go and watch him. I mean, he doesn't need any more followers than he's got already. I'd rather have some of them. But yeah, he's a great PC Twitch streamer and YouTuber, and obviously he's not for everyone. Not everyone likes him, but that's the same for everyone. Yeah, but I've learnt a lot from him. I've learnt a lot from Jingles when he was doing it, and all of the PC crowd. And then I came over to console, and there are some fantastic console YouTubers as well, which you'll find in my description of all my videos. I'll be adding to that list as it goes on. There are some fantastic replays, people that are capable of much more than I'm capable of in terms of damage, but I'm learning and I'm picking up knowledge as far as I can. So we finished off the artillery. We come over to this part of the train track now. We're ricocheting that 50B. He's got a 120mm gun, I believe. We don't get a second shot in, unfortunately, but I feel kind of safe here. They're both in a platoon together, so I just want to get one of them out because they're going to be working in tandem. It is 8 versus 2, so I feel like we've won this game already. Kind of positioned my tank badly there, but I managed to swing it around to get an auto-aimed shot into the side of the 907, and now I'm just going to full send the 50B. I feel like I can take him out without eating another shot. As you can see, that's fantastic camo. He didn't spot me until I fired there. I go for the tracks. I think I pen him through the tracks because it's the same as, well, the machine uses the 50-piece hull, and I remember you can just shoot straight through the tracks. But yeah, that was a fantastic, fast-paced, brawling game on an urban map. We finished top of the team, MVP, 6.4k direct damage, 800 assistance, blocked 2.8k damage, mastery badge, high caliber Confederate. Yeah, and an excellent game, and one that showcases everything about this tank. I think it's fantastic camo, the fantastic armor, that, you know, you can make it work against pretty much sort of 60-70% of the tanks you're going to face. So I hope you enjoyed that video. Thank you all so much for watching. There'll be more content out this week, especially with the update coming tomorrow. And I hope you all have a lovely day. I'll see you on the battlefield, and bye for now.